The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good evening and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts Randy and Jackie Rodney right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board, send us an email. Our email address is yourhomeyourmoney101@gmail.com. And now, right to your hosts of Your Home, Your Money, Randy and Jackie Rodney.
Hello, y'all.
Hi, how is everybody?
How is everybody? What's up with that?
How's it going? You, never mind, don't look at me.
Don't look at you.
Yeah, you're
What?
a problem right now.
A problem? What kind of problem?
You're just a problem.
What kind of problem? Let
You're
everyone know.
complaining that you haven't eaten, like, since breakfast, but I've been on the road all day. And you're working, but you could get yourself some food. Like, you're trying to make me feel bad that you were hungry.
No, that's not what I was doing.
What did you do then?
You were yapping at me, and I said, okay, I'm going to change the topic. And your yapping was how holy you are and how much of a whatever I am. So I applied Randy logic, which was just to throw in a monkey wrench and throw you off
Randy
tilter and get you
logic.
on the defense and then go from there.
It worked, didn't it?
And I had no idea where the conversation would go. And the fact that you're leaving me now is
Where am I going? Where am I going?
well, wasn't it Tom or Steve? Steve, that's what the last show that
Steve. I
yeah.
don't.
That
No, I
you
don't
could go
remember.
to him.
I don't remember.
He said you should
last
leave me.
year.
I think
I mean,
it
I
was
don't
him.
remember yesterday. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit.
Yeah, I don't remember yesterday either.
You don't?
That could be, that could be partly your age, hon.
Yeah. Well,
You're
after
5
you hit
years-
60, your life starts to go downhill for you, hey?
No, for you around
I know.
45, somewhere around
Really,
there.
eh?
Yeah, it sort of
I'm
goes
not
back.
even 45 yet. So what are you talking about?
You were at your pinnacle at 35. You were at your pinnacle because that's when you married me. And so you were
Hold on.
on a
Hold
high.
on. Hold on. Let's get this right. When did we get married?
In 1989, August, or 1990, August. One of those 2 years.
No.
Yeah,
No.
1989. No, sorry. I mean, 1 year before 2000, 1999.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in 69. So how old would I have been when I married
30.
you? And you just said I was 35. I was
When
at
you
my
hit your pinnacle.
No, you said, and it's recorded. You
Yeah.
said 35 was my pinnacle because that's
Right.
when I married you.
Yes, so you had just
So,
married me for 5
correction.
years.
No.
And so you were on a high.
It wasn't
You
just
think I'm
5
gonna
years.
back down from
no,
that?
it wasn't just 5 years. You know what it was? It was 5 years.
So you were 30. You were glowing. Holy smokes. Never seen you that happy.
Really?
Almost as happy as you are
actually-
now. You're even more happy now,
Actually, we have photos of you being so ecstatically happy that you were basically dragging me out of the church after we got married. Like you were smiling and you were all excited, and I couldn't even keep up with you in my shoes.
You can't keep up with me now.
You don't even have kneecaps anymore. Like there's nothing left to your knees. Where are you going?
I do have kneecaps.
And actually,
Do you know what a
funny-
kneecap is?
Funny.
I got kneecaps.
Funny that you say that
Mm-hmm.
I said that. I think I was talking to Anthony today. Anthony called me. He's really slam busy. So he calls, I answer the phone, and I'm like, hey, it's AA. And he's like, no, it's AAA. And I'm like, no, it's AA calling me. And I know I have a problem, but I don't think I need to go to meetings yet. And the poor guy didn't, he was like laughing his head off.
So
But
what
he hurt his back.
so that you understand what she's saying, because she didn't set up the joke, it's Anthony Allison, AA. And she turned that into a joke.
Yeah, but
which no one laughed at.
Anthony and I did. We get each other, okay?
He
thinks I'm funny.
His was
Ask
a
him.
nervous laugh.
Ask him.
And
He thinks I'm really funny.
it was a nervous laugh,
No,
and
it
he
wasn't.
was just not sure
You weren't
what
even
to
there,
do.
so what the heck? How do you know
Because I
anything?
know.
You know anything?
'Cause I
And
know.
let me finish my story. My
Okay.
story was about your niece. So I'm like, so anyways, I'm like, how are you? I haven't heard, like, I haven't seen you, nothing. And he's like, well, you know, he's like, all that running and jumping, my lower back is killing me. I can barely walk. And I'm like, what did you do? He's like, oh, trying to play basketball. I said, hey, trying to pretend you're 20. And he's like, yeah, that's it. So he hurt himself playing basketball. He always does, though, because I don't know why you guys go out there and play with like 20-year-olds when you're like 60. Anthony's not 60. Anthony's in his late 30s, but still, like, you can't move like them. They're just faster. They're younger. So I don't know why you guys do that and tear your bodies up to try to make a point. I don't quite understand that.
You know, the reason is that our we don't really know we're older. Like, we know when we feel a pain.
You don't know you're older?
No. We
Heck,
know
I know
when
I'm
we feel
older.
a pain. Like when you wake up in the morning and you strained your shoulder or something like that.
'Cause you were sleeping wrong?
And because of a sleeping position, then you know you're older. Or while you're playing the game and you wanted to move right, but you didn't move at all, then you know. Or you're thinking about stopping, and takes you 4 steps to stop as opposed to 1 that you
But
could
you don't
when you were
have
younger.
the time to do 4.
But you didn't know you're older. You still kind of think that you have something, and unfortunately, it doesn't plan out that way all the time. And then we would rather play with older guys, but for
the other older guys have some sense and they know they can't play.
well, no. What it is that the guys who were athletes in the day that you could play with, a number of things. One, family dynamics maybe doesn't allow for it. Maybe they're hurt and injured. Maybe they just don't have the energy. Maybe their bodies can't do it anymore. So the number of people is quite low. And so it's hard to put together just like a senior sort of thing. And unless you live in a metropolis, and then there's lots, but when you live sort of out in the suburbs, it's a little bit harder. And us men, not all, but the ones that are athletic, they tend to still want to kind of be athletic. We have a lot of testosterone that we need to burn off at times. And I try to burn them off with jokes, and yeah, it doesn't go over well with you. And not only that, they're probably not good. They're probably too aggressive. And I don't notice because I'm a bit of a buffoon that way. And I still think I'm cute when I tell the joke, and you think you're dumb. And it's just the way it works.
Okay, so we got Ken. Ken's a regular. Hi, Ken. Ken says Randy can't get his own food. Does he wipe his own ASS?
I want to know why Ken wants to know that. I really do, Ken. And listen, I can be honest with you, Ken. I do, but I don't think it's any of your business. All right?
Anyways, I'm going to give you a little synopsis of her life, okay? And I don't know if my background, I'm a Newfie. Where I come from in Newfoundland is really remote, the northern part, and we grew up that we are supposed to take care of our husbands. Now, most of the people, the women don't work, right? The men work, but you're at home and you take care of your husband. Even if you're working, it's still what you are grown up to believe you need to do. You need to have his clothes clean. You need to have tea for him. You need to have his breakfast, his lunch, his dinner. You need to, you know, I remember when I first moved up here to Toronto many, many years ago, and my mother would call me and say, "So, did you iron all of the shirts for work for him? Did you?" Like, she would ask me
She was coaching you.
if I've done all these things. So, like, and you know, and even our kids will say, "Well, you can't complain, Mom. You did it to yourself. Like, and I didn't work, okay? I never worked until my kids were like 15. I didn't go to work, so I was home. So my husband got used to me doing everything, right? And back in the day, I maybe needed 3 hours sleep and I was good to go. I was quite energetic. I was like a ticking time bomb all the time, always on the go. I mean, at night when my kids went to bed, I would take their Polly Pockets, all those little tiny shoes.
Yeah.
And they had so many of them, and I would have to make sure that I had every
pair.
shoe, every outfit was, I couldn't help it. Like, that's the way I was.
Not only did you have those and organize them and count them and put them away, but you knew who gave them
Yes, I did.
everything, and you reminded them of
Yes, I
all of
did.
that all the time, so that they were grateful for the things that they got, and they
Yes.
didn't just throw them around.
You know, like, I didn't grow up with a lot, but I don't feel like I grew up feeling like I didn't have anything. But our kids grew up with abundance. I mean, we've always done pretty well, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, because you can spoil your kids but not have spoiled rotten kids, and I wanted to make sure that kids understood and valued what people gave them, so that when their godmother came over, they knew that that teddy bear, that rainbow teddy bear that had the 1 year on it, was what they gave you when you turned one. Like, they needed to know that, so that those people knew that my kids appreciated everything that was given to them. So
And that
I was
way-
just like that. I couldn't help it. But that being said, I'm almost 56 years old now. I got some medical
That's all?
issues. Whatever. I got some medical issues, you know, like I got really bad hips. I have insomnia. I don't sleep. So over the years of never sleeping, it's caught up to me. And now I feel exhausted all the time. So I go to work when we have clients. So I'm going to put it all out there, because last week I feel like Randy got a
You
lot
don't
of
need
hate.
to put it all
Even
out
though he
there.
didn't care that he got hate. You know, I don't work a lot. I still don't work a lot, but there's times when I do work a lot, and then there's times when I don't work, right? Because I deal with the clients face to face. I don't do any of the background.
That's because you have a team around you that does
Right.
everything.
Right.
And you work with the client.
Right, so
And
I deal with the clients up
It
front.
makes the job easier because
Randy
you don't
does
have
the
to do all the
systems,
work.
right? If I can't, then one of the other agents will take the clients out. You know, my assistant does pretty much all my paperwork. So I got it pretty good. I can't really complain.
And you
But-
do really good.
But it's
'cause
just like
people
my kid,
love you.
and just like my kids said, they're like, you know, you spoiled Daddy, and I did the same thing with them. And now I notice my oldest daughter is like, you know, she does the same thing for her boyfriend, because she grew up watching me do it, and you know, she knows she doesn't have to do it because he can get his own food, but she does it. So
She enjoys it.
So it was brought up, with me. So yeah, my husband is not used to doing those things for
You know,
himself,
I
and he doesn't
think-
care about eating either. He'll work all day and not eat.
No, I think that this whole 50-50 movement for marriages, where marriages are at an all-time high for divorces, it doesn't work. I mean, it may work for a very small percentage of the population, but what is 50-50? Like, sometimes some people have better skill sets than others. For example, Jackie would have been a way better and was a way better parent than me. So should we have been that she's out working and I'm at home with the kids, or should we have been both working and have a maid look after our kids? Like, what would have been the ideal scenario? Well, for us, the ideal scenario was for her to be home and for me to be out working. And at that point, I became addicted to work because that's what I had to do. If I didn't survive, the family didn't survive. And so I kind of got addicted to working. I'm getting out of it a little bit right now because I don't work 15, 16 hours a day now.
Yes, you do. You just bring it home and then you work from bed
sometimes, but not all the time. Before it was all the time, and I had no worth if I wasn't working. But it's a little bit different now. And then now Jackie's also working. So, and she is 100 times better at working with clients than I am, and that I ever was, and that what I would ever be. And that's just the way it is. And so it's wonderful that she can fit into that role. And then when it comes to the administration, we put someone in that role who is better than both of us. And me, I am good at the more of the operations and the systems, and setting up what the clients want and need, and maybe even having things that they don't necessarily want because there's other clients who want that, and putting that in place so that our the way in which clients view their experience with us is over the top. And so the combination of the three of us makes it way better. Whereas when I was in this, I was all alone and I was trying to do that. So I would be at work after I finished for the day. I've got so much paperwork to do. And so from 10 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing paperwork in my office, getting home at 4, going to bed, getting up at 4-7 and going to the office. And that was, and that was my life. So now that things are more balanced, and that's why also I really do believe in the team that we're building, the team style that we're building, because it allows you to have a life. When we were younger and our kids were younger, a graduation, a birthday party, any of that stuff, it could be on the snap of a dime that I have to go, that I might miss it, that I'll be late. It's just, unfortunately, that is real estate. And why is it real estate? Because the person who wants to buy a home or sell their home, that moment where they want to go and do something is more important than anything in the world to them at that moment, because they are setting up their future. And so for us to just say, well, no, sorry, it's my child's birthday party today. You can't see houses. We can't negotiate your offer. We can't, whatever the situation is, because we got our own stuff to do, that just doesn't cut it. And so now with a team environment, now we can share those duties. So if Jackie is busy, another teammate member can take someone out, or any of the combination of swapping duties is there, and it allows for a more balanced life and a better real estate experience for our clients and a better real estate experience for us. Not only that, most realtors end up divorced. Why? Because their significant other does not understand how they have to be so committed to their client, and therefore they don't feel like they're as committed to them, and they leave them, and then those realtors end up marrying another realtor who understands the responsibilities behind being a realtor. Sorry, go ahead, hon.
Oh, no.
You had an email.
Huh?
You had another email or what?
Oh, I got lots of emails.
Okay, go ahead, read them.
Okay.
They're bad?
You know they are. A lot of haters out there.
A lot of haters.
Eric says, Randy effed up on your anniversary. Well, he effed up on the date,
On
but
the anniversary? What's that mean? Oh, he's saying what day?
yeah, you did. You forgot the date, but you're
It was
61
no,
now.
it was the 21st.
You're very
It
forgetful.
wasn't. It was
What's
the
the
year.
20? Yeah.
Huh? It
Yeah.
was the 20th and the 21st.
What's the 20th?
21st of August.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the 20th?
The 20th of May
That is
and the 7th of August.
okay. Oh,
Okay.
you're stating
Kids'
birthdays now.
birthdays
Okay.
and anniversary. I got them. The year I did mess up. I said 89 instead of 99.
And thanks, Randy, for explaining. We didn't know what AA meant.
Yeah, of course not.
No, but I think he's being sarcastic, but
I don't. How would they know,
I know
that it stands
Anthony's
for Anthony
name.
Allison?
I know, yes, but that was. Hey to the Rodneys. Viva la Kearney for his new name for the old carbon tax. Now, the Climate Action Incentive Tax, which is more. What a con artist. I haven't read up on this, so I don't know anything about it. Riley wants to know, and why are we having this conversation? I don't know, Riley, what would you like us to talk about? Send me an email, tell me what you want me to talk about, and I'll see if I can talk about that.
This is part of.
And Frank says, what are we
Our
listening
lives.
to? Sesame Street? Yes, you know what? Frank, my life is as rosy as Sesame Street.
You know what? Ernie and Bert. Ernie and Bert from Sesame Street. I'm
And
Ernie,
Evan says,
you're Bert.
while we are listening to Randy, I'm listening to Beethoven's Fifth violin music.
You know what? That has when you play
It's not what he meant,
classic.
so he
I know
means.
classical music, and you listen to something. It's called super learning. So that's how we used to learn more and more about real estate. Was that it would be classical music in the background, and you would be learning the things that you learn because somehow it stimulates your brain more.
Well, that's
so
what
who
we
was
played
that?
for the kids.
Who was
I don't
that?
know. That was way back. I
Okay,
don't
it doesn't
know.
matter.
Anyways,
so he's
Jim
super
said-
learning
yeah.
about our
Jim-
lives.
Okay, yeah. And Jim says, listening to your show and drinking. Good for you, Jim. Have one for me. Yeah, so I think that's it for the emails. And yeah, we all knew that, Karen, that was going to happen with the carbon tax. That
Oh, yeah. No.
it was a good game, but we knew it was
Oh,
going
yeah,
to be
everyone
some
knew.
crap show.
Nobody
right?
cared.
Yeah. So,
No, well, I shouldn't
Let's-
say nobody.
Yeah.
The portion of the population that voted for him didn't care.
let's talk about the article I read about this man in Hamilton, which I was going to do last week on the show, so it's a little over, it's not current this week news, but he's been ordered by the city of Hamilton to remove all the cameras off his home. He has 10 cameras, and he has them all around his home because I guess there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's a lot of stuff that goes on in his area, and he wants to protect his home, right? Who doesn't want to protect their home? So he's been ordered to take them down. He said that on numerous occasions, when there's been accident or break-in, whatever, and has been around his home, the police have come and asked him if he has video footage of it, which he has given to them to even help. Like when an accident happened, it was recorded because they record off his camera. The city of Hamilton is saying that he is intruding, for lack of words, on people's privacy because his camera goes beyond his property line and it sees people on the street. So this lady and whatever came on for the city of Hamilton and saying, well, it's an invasion of privacy. Like, I have cameras all over my house, everywhere, down my sides, in the front and the back, and okay, my front cameras do catch the street. So does that mean now that I can't have a camera up because the range of the camera is too wide now, and if somebody walks down the street, I see them on my camera?
I don't understand what privacy you're talking about if you are walking down a
public.
public street. That I That for the
Do you
life
know
of
what
me,
I mean?
I don't understand.
It's like when they say you can't video this. Well, yeah, I can. I'm not on public property. I'm
Well,
not on
I
private
don't know what
property.
the Canadian laws are. I
No,
know
but
in
I'm just
America,
saying, right?
because
Like-
we see it all over the YouTube. But in Canada, I'm not sure if you're allowed to just videotape a public space. Because I know you can't go into the mall and videotape
Yes,
inside the
I
mall.
know.
But
But
can
I've
you
never
videotape
heard of
that
this.
going down the street? Because there are real estate videos that are showing neighborhoods, and they drive down the street and
Yeah.
they show that, and so they're showing people's houses as well. I know if you are very concerned about privacy, you could write into Google and have your house removed from the Google site.
Yes, our new
and things of
client,
that nature. So
Yeah,
is
has
it,
that done. You can't, when we were trying to do up the book for
Mm-hmm.
her, when Amanda was doing the book, there was no photo of her home. Because in every site that Amanda tried to go on to get a photo for the front of the book for the owner,
removed it.
was blurred. So I drove up to Markham and snapped the picture of her home to put on the book.
So what about if you did a topographical view to show
I
the
don't
roof?
know if you do
I'm
street
very
view, but she tried all of those Google things and sent me snapshots of what she got, and
Nothing.
their home alone, just theirs was blocked out.
yeah.
Right? But
so
Hank,
we've seen homes like that.
Hank has figured out the camera problem. Hank says, regarding the security cameras, government overreach, typical libs. The city of Hamilton is all liberal. Makes sense.
But you know, I'm wondering who you're protecting.
Everybody
because,
has a doorbell that
well,
recorder everything
that records.
now.
Yeah. So, but let's get real. I mean, we go for a walk in the neighborhood, and is our privacy being invaded because somebody has a camera somewhere or a doorbell somewhere, or they're even just looking off of their porch?
Yeah, I know.
And seeing what's going on, or off their balcony. I'm a little bit lost
I don't
on this one.
understand it. And
And remember, we saw the lady doing the video. I guess she's some privacy lady, and she just seemed like an old, bitter old lady. Oh, we expect a certain amount of privacy when we're in public, and it's like, well,
Don't
what
go to
privacy? What privacy
Don't go
do you
public.
get? People who drive
Yeah.
by in a bus see you. People who are in a cab see you. They could have a camera going. People like people looking out the condo building, hundreds
Yeah.
of them could see you. I don't understand what kind of privacy you get from that. And then to go and order the guy to take his cameras down,
Well-
that's excessive.
I don't know if he has to. They've ordered it, but I guess if the city orders
I'm sure you
they're
have
saying
to.
some bylaw thing. What?
there-
I've never heard of a bylaw about you having a camera in your house.
Well, obviously there is one in Hamilton, but yeah, I don't understand it. But there's even more. Like there was a gentleman, or I think it was a couple, who had just spent $40,000 redoing their driveway. Their driveway doesn't have a sidewalk, and so they redid it all the way down the entire driveway, did a nice little walkway and all that stuff, and had multiple colors of bricks to give it a design of sorts. They spent $40,000 on it. And the city, someone complained, because bylaw usually doesn't react unless someone complains. So they're walking down the street, see a camera, they don't like it, they call bylaw, and then I guess there's a problem. Well, in this case, somebody didn't like the design of his driveway or something, or doesn't like him. They call bylaw. Bylaw comes by and says, you are not allowed to change the driveway from your property to the street. And so that all has to be ripped out.
But everybody does it.
Well, I don't know when you say everybody what that means, but certainly,
Like, I'm trying to
certainly
think,
where
don't-
he
doesn't
is,
driveways
it's not
that are-
allowed.
So interlocking driveways, when you go look, the bottom part is not interlocked? I can't, I'm trying to think now, I don't remember.
In most cases, yes,
Right?
yes,
Because you want it to match.
right. But
And
Some
to
places
me,
it's not allowed.
But to me, that's fine if you do that, right? I get it. And if you need to rip it up, rip it up. I'm not telling you can't rip it up if you need to dig there for something.
you just put it back.
Yeah.
Well, like we can even put it back.
Yeah.
But you know what's really strange is because if they say, well, it can only be tar, do you know when you rip up parts of tar and put it back, it looks like crap.
Yep.
So, but you can put back the interlock and it looks fine. So the whole thing doesn't really make sense, but bylaw doesn't have to make sense. It really doesn't. What it is a bunch of people who sit in a boardroom, make rules, and their rules then hold once they all vote for it. Once the group think says, oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that, and they do it, all of a sudden it takes on its own life form. And it's really kind of unfortunate
Yeah, it's
that
almost
common
like
sense.
they dig in then, right?
Yeah, common sense
possibly to
is
shut
out
up
the
the people
window.
that are complaining. I don't know, but Rita says fair game. Randy, in Canada, you can video in public places, public areas in our malls. These include the walkways, main corridors, the food court. You are so wrong there. Have someone look it up. Any public area is fair in Canada's fair game. So I'm not sure
Okay.
what it is, Rita.
I'm not sure what
and I'm not
she's
sure if
talking
it
about.
changed.
But we'll tell
I
you.
know that when we were foster parents and our foster son was maybe 14, 15.
Something
He's
like
in
that.
high school, and he was going out with his friends, and of course, me, I got to know where you're going. Most of the time, I'm dropping you off and picking you up, and I'm going to the door, and I'm introducing myself to the parents. I was a little wacky when I was young, and he's like, "We're going to the mall," and I'm like, "What are you going to the mall to do?" And he's like, "Oh, we're going to shoot some videos." And I looked at him. I said, "You can't do that." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You are not allowed to go in the mall with your cameras and video cord. You're going to get kicked out."
Yes.
And he didn't believe me, so I called the mall. And at that point, we lived in Pickering, so I called the Pickering Town Center,
And it just has.
and I spoke to security. I said, "Hey, just question. Can we come in and video in the mall?" And he said, "No." He's like, "What do you plan?" I said, "Well, my son wants to go there, him and his friends, and they're going to go there and do some
be a school
videoing."
project.
And he said that no, if he comes and they are seen, they will get a ban from the mall.
There will be,
now
yeah.
this
There will
was
be trespass.
a long time ago. This was like 20.
It's the same thing
But
now.
I'm just saying, right?
That hasn't changed. You
But
can't
so maybe
go
it's
in a
the
mall.
security. Maybe it's not the law, but maybe security can control that because they have control over inside the mall. Maybe I don't know.
And this is it. So it may be in her province. It may be allowed. I can guarantee you, in Toronto, in Durham, it's not allowed. If you are going to have any type of camera set up or any of that to go through a mall, you need to get a permit. And it needs to be approved, and it needs to go through not only just the mall management, but it needs to go through security as well before you can do it. So otherwise, we could pack up here, we could go to the mall and have a podcast there. And you just can't do that.
I guess you can go in, and if you sign whatever, I guess you can go through the right channels and do it. But
Yeah, if you go through right channels. But if you were to walk
don't know.
through,
Maybe it's changed.
and no,
I don't know. Maybe it's
if
changed. I don't
you know,
know.
it's one thing if you have your phone on and they don't know. That's one thing. But it's another thing if you go in there with camera gear, which was basically back in the day. We're talking
Yeah.
about it was camera gear, and go in there and you think you're going to videotape
Yeah.
in a mall. You're going to find out quick enough.
So-
They're going to write you up. They're going to trespass you, and you will not be allowed back in the mall.
I'm not quite sure, but we just got asked from Chris if we're high. Hi, Rodney's, are you? Do I seem high? Do I?
Yeah,
No, seriously.
seriously.
I've been on the road all day working. I'm still not finished.
How did he spell
I
high?
got to do an amendment and everything.
How did he spell the two highs?
High.
One is H-I,
High.
the second one.
High.
Okay.
And he says, Are you high? Were
No.
you smoking? Were you
You,
drinking?
you know I
Or
don't.
high? I know.
Well, I don't drink.
I mean, drinking.
And-
There's cannabis drink, not.
No.
No.
And I
Nor
often
am I.
don't
We're
smoke.
both still have to drive home from here, so we're in
still
separate
working.
cars, and we still got work to do when we're finished the show.
Well, maybe something we said was dumb.
or maybe I don't know, we're a little laid back, but it's a little different in these chairs than when we're.
Yeah.
Like
as a matter of fact, I said I prefer to
I need
stand.
a pillow behind my back for this because I feel like
They're
I'm.
cool chairs, but
but
they're not
they're-
that
Hey,
comfortable.
Jackie, I can grab you a pillow if you need it.
I think it's
She'll
gonna.
end up
Okay.
going to sleep.
I also got some information about that guy in Hamilton if you want me to share it to you online.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
give me a minute. I'll just get you a bill.
Yeah, okay. And then here's some good news. This is not really real estate, but I thought it was fun. This guy in, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's like, wow, oh, that's a lot better. Because I can't even reach all the way back there. So
A
this,
booster seat would help too.
yeah, it does. I got one in the car, actually. This Oshawa man has a little dash hound. You know what a dash hound is, right? It's the sausage dog, everybody calls them.
Okay.
The little line with
A
the little-
dash hound.
Yeah.
Okay.
The El Petite.
Wiener dog.
Right. He walks his dog while he is dressed up like a dash hound.
Okay.
This is him.
And
But he said Oshawa man, but he's actually in Whitby, so I'm not quite sure about that. And that's a Whitby off-leash dog park where he is. So he walks his dog up and down the street in his dash hound suit. And you know what? People are getting a big kick out of it. They're saying hi to him. They're smiling. The kids are loving it. They're coming up. They want to take photos with him. Now he's got people reaching out for him to come to their store, dress up in it. And he's having a lot of fun. And I thought, and you know, he said, you know what? He's after COVID and all that, he just thought it was fun. He wanted to go out and put a smile on people's faces. I think it's kind of cool that he stepped out of his comfort zone probably to, and as cute as anything, man. Come on.
A little
Look at
creepy,
this. This is
but-
him. This is him with his dog. Oh, this is cute. I don't know if anybody, well, you guys are not
if you
watching
keep moving it, it makes it worse.
This is
Yeah,
him.
Holding it still would
Yeah,
be
I
better.
just put it on the close-up, and you can see it perfectly fine.
This is him.
Wow.
And he's
Awesome.
having fun, and I think as cute as anything. And I read it, and I had to print it, and I had to say something. But I printed a lot of stuff that I didn't need to print.
My spider senses go up. when
With
I-
what?
Yeah, I think it's a little creepy, but I don't think, he may be a super nice guy, but you go out dressed like a dash hound.
Walking his dash hound. And now
I understand.
he wants to get two dash. Now he wants to get a friend, dash hound, for his dog. But his wife is kind of like, two dash hounds? Is she going to have three dash hounds?
What happens if someone comes out dressed as a pit bull and wants to eat the hot dog? Do those two get into a fight? And then do we see these two costume guys fighting?
I don't know. Who
That
knows?
would be funny.
In the ring.
They should just plan that as a skit and have some innocent person there videotaping it. The one dog is sitting there, the other one's going, rah, rah, and then they get in a fight.
So, my
That
other
would be
thing
funny.
is a little bit about real estate, which I had no idea about this, to be honest with you. I read this article about a couple. They are from Toronto. They moved to San Francisco for a job, but they'd always planned at some point to hopefully move back because all their family is here. So I guess they started looking into moving back this year and realized that they can't afford to move back. They can't live the same here as what they are in San Francisco. And one of his problems was that he started looking for jobs, doing Zoom interviews and everything, and
Yeah,
he was
gets
getting
paid less.
he was getting offered 80 to 90,000, and over there he gets paid
250, wasn't it?
250,000. He's getting paid in the U.S. for the same job that he got offered 90,000 here for, and I had no idea that it was that uneven. Like, no wonder people, like, even in, like, the healthcare, they go to the States.
I'm not sure if it's the same in healthcare, but it's certainly
He's
when
in
it comes
IT.
when it comes to software and things of that nature, the United States is so much more progressive with that. They're way more progressive
They're
than we
definitely
are.
paying people. But, it's the same thing with our daughter. Our daughter, the kind of job she does, I won't say what she does, in the States, the same people get paid a lot more than what she does here in Canada. So it's in a lot, it goes across a lot of industries that this is the same. And I don't know why. And when you get paid from U.S. companies, when you're providing a service, there's no HST they pay. But when you file your income tax, you got to pay HST for all of that.
We do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you
They
lose
don't.
again. So not only do you
But
not
now
get
you-
paid the same as what your counterpart in the U.S. get paid, but now you have to pay the HST because your U.S. people are not. They're not. Why would they hire you now if they got to pay all this extra money?
Price
right?
of housing is way cheaper. Price of
You see
food
what you can
is
go and-
way cheaper.
and live in
the
Texas
price,
and live in?
price of clothing is cheaper. That's the United States. It's more expensive here, and it's because we're more progressive. And that's it. And we're getting more and more progressive. We keep voting the whole liberal thing. At least in the United States, they try to balance it. Some liberal, some conservative, liberal, conservative. Here we typically just go liberal. And if you check out all of the states that are liberal, the cost of living is stupid. Check out California. You know, their taxes are really crazy. Their cost of living is really crazy, and they're extremely liberal. The problem is this whole liberal movement, which I am a liberal, okay, and I've been one for
What do
pretty
you
much
mean
my
you're a
whole
lib-
life.
We're not gonna talk about this again, are
Well,
we?
it doesn't matter, Jack. It's just who I am.
So you
I'm
voted
not
liberal.
disappointed
You
in
keep
who I
voting
am.
liberals in?
I know I will vote anybody, but that I like. But the thing is that, but I am more of a liberal. I grew up in government. I grew up in foster care. I believe in more left-wing ideologies. However, right now,
They're not the same ideologies as back in the
as
day.
back in the day, yes. And right now, I seem much more conservative than I do liberal. But the thing is that the issue is that the whole liberal movement is about giving this group and this group and this group and this group free stuff that everybody has to pay for. And it's not a matter of just giving the free stuff. Once they give the free stuff, they have to police that the right people are getting the free stuff, so they have to hire people to do that. Then they have to do an administration on the free stuff, so they got to hire people to do that. So government gets bigger and bigger and more expensive, and now it just balloons out of control. And that is, in essence, the biggest issue with the whole liberal movement, which is what we tend to love here in Canada. Definitely in Ontario. And it's unfortunate because it is really destroying our children's future. But even our children, they're into that whole movement too. And when they find out, oh, you're going to give free dental and free cell phones and free accommodations to people who cross the border illegally, they think that that's wonderful. Why? Because they have no bills to pay. They're living for free, and it just sounds like a really nice thing to do. But the truth of the matter is when they get older and can't afford a house or a car or anything like that, because the government has continuously taxed everything, they have capital gains tax now going to be on the principal residence, let's say, because the government has to do more taxes to pay for these free things that they give away and all of the infrastructure that they build to manage what they're giving away. They have to charge more taxes in order to pay for it, and therefore the kids will not be able to afford living in Ontario. But it's the principles that we are embracing that's causing this thing to grow out of control, and it's so unfortunate. And you know what? Like, even so let's say that guy with the $250,000 income. Well, if he moves to Canada, and let's say they even gave him $250,000, the guy's going to lose at least 40 and change percent of that, 50% plus. But then there's parts where it's less, so he's going to lose probably 45. As a net percent of his income, which is another thing he's not anticipating. His cost of living is going to be more. His housing is going to be more. Even if we could get the tax thing or the income thing balanced between us and the United States, but it's just not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I rant now about real estate?
Yeah, go ahead.
What time do we got?
15 minutes.
Oh, well, sales are up. Someone had asked me, and I saw some articles saying that the real estate market is picking up because the interest rates have just been lowered another 0.25%. Bank of Canada lowered it. I will tell you that the Bank of Canada is lowering the interest rate not to flare real estate, not to help with that. They're doing because they have to, because we are in a pretty bad situation. Our economy is not doing well. The cost of living is not good. Credit card debt is being racked up with Canadians like crazy. And it's just not a good forecast what's going on out there. And so they've got to do something to change the tide. And so typically when your economy gets worse, you got to reduce your rates in order to spark it a bit. So that's what's really happening. And how will it affect real estate? Well, the fact that sales were up 2.3% had nothing to do with the announcement, because the announcement came, I think, like 17 days after the report, because the report's on last month. The announcement was this month. So, no, the real estate market is not picking up because of the interest rate drop. And it is not going to have a major effect. Now, I'm predicting the future, and I'll tell you why. Because 5 years ago today, when we had, now let me go back to those stats, when we had interest rates of the bank interest rates of pretty much 0.25%, pretty much. So we go back 5 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The average price then is better than what we are doing now. It was 127,000. For 2021 was the average price, when last month it was $1.022 versus one. Hold on a second, let me get this right. 1.022 versus almost 1.1, and next year we're looking at 1.2. It was almost 1.2 in 2022. And next year it was almost 1.13. And so what we're seeing is that there's basically, quite a difference, about $100,000 difference, and on average in the pricing. And it was more expensive then, and the interest rate was lower. And now, hold on, let me go back 5 years, Jack. I'm losing myself. So we're in 2025. So that would have been 2020. So in 2020, the average price was $926,000, and there were 101,000 sales 5 years ago. So let's bring that forward today. Sorry about being lost. The average price is $1.022, so almost $100,000 higher than it was in 2020. And so what does that really mean? It means that prices of homes now are higher than they were 5 years ago, when the interest rate was only like 0.25%. The overnight rate was around 0.25%. So, and now we're at like 2.5%. So the carrying cost back then, with a $100,000 cheaper home and much lower interest rates, was a lot lower than it is today. And so we would need for the prices to continue to drop and the interest rates to continue to drop to try to balance out just before the peak. Because that was just before the peak, because the next year was the peak. Right? Actually, 2022 was the peak. So now what we're basically, a small little decrease is not going to make up for the monthly cost of carrying a home. So, we would need, right now we're at 2.5, we would need a 2% rate cut to really start to come close to balancing the situation and making properties feel more affordable, for the public to embrace the prices of homes, for the public to feel like they can afford it, to dream again. And as you guys know, especially on this show, many people write in and say it's out of control. You guys should quit your job and drive Uber or whatever you guys hit us with all the time. Real estate's out of control. Nobody's buying, all this stuff. Well, yes, transactions are down almost 50%. So yes, you're right. Transactions are down. However, the average price has only dipped a little bit and needs to dip more in order to make it more affordable. And what I believe is over the next year, we're going to start to see it dip again, and maybe even a little more aggressively than we're seeing it dip this year. On average, we were looking at about a 5% dip year over year each month so far this year. So I do not believe we're going to see a spike in real estate because the interest rate had gone down. And I don't believe that the interest rate going down, even if it were to go down 4 times in the next year, would be enough to spark the market just yet. Now, if that happens in 2 years, I would say it's a little bit different. And part of the reason is because next year is our tsunami of homes at peak prices, at the lowest possible interest, and those people all have to renew their homes, and their mortgages are going to be between $1,500 to $3,000 more a month. That's going to be hard for them. But not only that, if they were to sell their home, they're going to lose money because they're at the where the peak was. So that's going to be our tsunami of homes hitting the marketplace. Right now, overall, we're looking at about 5,000 sales versus about 30,000 homes for sale. And that's a 1 in 5 chance of selling. Only 1 in 5 homes are selling. It's really 5,211 homes sold versus 27,495 on the market. And so, most of the homes aren't selling. And then when you couple that with we're going to experience a tsunami of homes coming to the market, then we're going to see that number 1 in 5 is going to be higher. It's going to be 1 in 6, 1 in 7, possibly 1 in 8. If you look in the condo market, in some areas, it's like 1 in 12 chance of selling. In other words, you're not going to sell. Pretty much, unless you're really giving away your property. And so what happens is as someone gives away their property, it can have a effect in the neighborhood for reallocating the prices for that area, the square foot prices for that area, especially for some buyers and sometimes most buyers, and therefore drastically reduces the price that you can get if you have to sell. So this is something that we're faced with, that we're going to see continue to increase. I do not believe those ads that we're seeing that are constantly trying to psych people into believing the real estate market has turned around. It is not going to turn around for another year at least. And that's my prediction based on the information that I know, based on the research that I've done, based on a lot of the things that I've told you. And that's just kind of the unfortunate reality that we're in. And I would love to bring nothing but good news in the real estate industry because we make more money the more transactions that happen. And so we love for that to happen when we can, but that's not the reality of the situation. Average price is down 5.2. Even though sales is up 2.3, the average price has declined 5.2%. And so when the average price throughout the entire TREB marketplace is $1,022,000, so 1.022, which can just average off to $1 million. A 5% decrease is a $50,000 decrease in equity for homeowners who are looking to sell their homes. And part of the problem with that is that the homeowners who are on the market, remember only 1 in 5 are selling, the ones that felt that their home was worth 1.2 has now come down to 1.1. They're not moving. And then from 1.1 in a month, they're going to go down to 1.25, which is where they should have been 2 months prior, but the prices have moved again and they're not selling. So a lot of homeowners are chasing the market downwards. The longer their homes sit on the market, the more it gets a negative stigma around it. And therefore, it even causes buyers to be even more concerned about that property and therefore offer even less money than what the homeowners would want. New listings are up 9.4%, which means that that there are more people coming to the market than before. So the average price has gone down, but more listings are coming, 9.4%. And then because only 1 in 5 are selling, inventory is stacking up. So the average, the active listings are up 22%, 22.4%. So as you can see, this is really not the best forecast for the real estate industry. We are seeing both indicators for one of the, the sales of new listing and average days on market are definitely indicators more favoring the buyer's market, and months average days on market and months of inventory is still hitting the balanced because we're only looking at 4.5 months, which is a lot compared to when it was in the peak, when it wasn't even a month worth of inventory there based on the number of transactions. If no new inventory came, it would be sold out before the end of the month. But now we're talking even if no new properties came to market, there would be more than enough homes on the market to satisfy us for well over 4 months. And that number
That's going to climb.
That number is climbing. So it's one of the last indicators that has remained, that has not hit the buyer's market. It's come out of the seller's market. It's in the balance territory, but it's quickly approaching the buyer's marketplace, which just means that buyers are going to have more say in what homes are moving than sellers are. At one point, sellers had the rule of the roost. Yeah. They put a home on the market, it would sell whenever the seller was ready to sell it. So the seller would hold back for a week, it would sell in a week. If they didn't hold back for a week, it'd sell that day. If they held back for 2 weeks, it would sell that day. And they would get hundreds of thousands of dollars more than what they normally expected. And that's just not happening now. And so the average sale to list price is 97%, which is 3% below your ask, basically. And we were seeing like 104% and that before. So that number has declined almost 7% all on its own, and average days on market is now as high as 49 days on average for the Toronto Real Estate Board, which is up 11.4%, which means if you put your home on the market now, don't plan that it's going to sell in a week or two. That is not what the marketplace, how fast the marketplace is moving. You got to expect more like 50 days priced properly. But if you're overpriced and we'll test because you just never know, well, you'll be a lot longer than that. And that is my market update.
We got 1 minute just to show you what the prices are like. Took my clients out. Remember yesterday we rushed because there was an offer date on this property, and I was listed for $699.99, and it's a link, but it's only linked by the garage. So when you look at it, it
Looks-
looks like a detached home. It was about in and around, I'd say, between 11 and 1,300 square feet. Really good condition. An older gentleman owned it. Small, but you know what? He had the kitchen upgraded. The bathrooms weren't like new, but they were pristine. He had wainscoting everywhere. The finished basement with a full bathroom down there. And they didn't sell. And, my client was interested and everything, but then, we were outside talking. I said, you can't change where the house is, and you can't make more space in the house. So that's the two things you got to consider. But then talking to the agent, the guy is willing to take 7, the owner. She's like, oh my gosh, but he's willing to take, that's a steal. For a good home that you don't have to go in and do any renovations, finished basement with a full bathroom. And he'll take, if he had to, that's what he would take. And I'm like, we're out anyways. But anyways, there's some really good deals out there even now.
Yeah, and that agent should have never told you that information. However, you pulled it out of her. Good job for you. Bad job for the other agent. Thank you for joining us. This has been Your Home, Your Money, in Our Lives on realityradio101.com. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy and Jackie Rodney, right here on Reality Radio 101.